My name is Womp Rat, and today we're going to be playing some Orcs Must Die 2, Part 2 of Act 2 of the Trapless experiment. Today's level, Passages. And oh my goodness, guys, I cannot tell you how many times I have played this level now. Like, if I had to play this level one more time, like if this was the weekly, I would just say no. No more. In fact, I kind of don't want to anymore, but I have some awesome footage to show you guys today. And, yeah, this is probably the hardest level I've tried so far. Cough. Mirror image, cough. But I ended up actually having to record levels further on in the Trapless experiment in Act 2. Just because this one level was just such a hang-up. Like, I thought Precipice was bad. And, I mean, Precipice is a pretty safe 2-skull, but this level has taken the cake. Like I said, countless times of hitting restart. And this is actually going to segue into my major complaint about Orcs Must Die 2, and hopefully maybe a feature in Orcs Must Die 3, if we get lucky and get an Orcs Must Die 3. The ability to retry, or at least practice specific waves in a practice mode. I can get up to the last couple waves without any issues. That's not the problem. My problem lies in the fact that the last couple rounds, I don't get to practice.
They're trying to flank us.
It's about a 15-minute time investment to be able to practice one wave. And for me, that just seems like it ends up being a lot of work just to try to perfect your technique on, you know, a round that's 11, 12, you know, plus rounds in. That's bordering on the edge of insane. But through, I guess, a lot of hard work and practice, we're owning our craft. I still find myself watching my videos and saying, you know, I could have done that, and that would have maybe gotten me a couple more rift points there, or I could have done that. Oh, why didn't I get that potion? Those sorts of things. Or, you know, looking at something and being like, oh, you know, I went through Servant's Entrance without the Rift Defender trinket. You know, I totally should go back and do that and use it so I can, you know, get untouchable or whatever. I just find myself looking back at some of these things, and it's like, you know, there's still so much more I have left to perfect in my craft and in my technique. But, I mean, getting to go back through these levels has been tremendously helpful and effective, and it's really basics. I mean, one might argue that it's a little bit more than basic, because this is just kind of ridiculous. I honestly don't believe that this is how the game was meant to be played. And I mean, that's kind of the entire reason for the Trapless experiment is I like playing games in ways that they weren't designed to be played. Just pushing the envelope, especially in Act 2, has been a lot of fun. I think Precipice is where it started picking up, the end of Act 1. It wasn't too hard until after that. Servant's Entrance hasn't been too hard. This is the second level in Act 2, Passages. We have a couple more levels after this. I don't know what's up on deck, but pretty much the hardest levels other than Passages for Act 2 so far have been Crunch, which I'm still working on, and Mirror Image, also a work in progress. I'm really holding out hope for Mirror Image, but folks, it is not looking pretty. It's a short walk to a portal on both upper areas. Lots of kobold runners and trolls. And those larger targets sap a lot of rift points. So it's a upfront DPS race on that level. After that, I think the last thing I haven't even really gotten too far. I did a small sneak peek of it. I played the first 6 waves of Twisted Halls, the finale of Act 2. That was a lot of fun. I think I got halfway through it, and I think I lost about half my rift points. Not quite half, but for first go through, that's kind of how it is. First time is figuring out what wave spawned what, and figuring out what you need to bring. For the most part, you've been watching from the inception of the Trapless experiment. You'll have noticed that, my lineup has not changed. There are certain items that have never been swapped out. I mean, other than the fact that, you know, first waves we're going for kind of like the trifecta of Untouchable, Manaless, and Trapless. But as we've gone further into the game, we've had to facilitate our needs for more damage and just more utility. I mean, I didn't work in my Rift Defender trinket until later on, and that's been a pretty cool lifesaver. For the most part, I mean, getting through half the game without traps is kind of an accomplishment. I want to get all the way through, though. You'll probably notice as I've been playing this level that, yeah, we've had some close calls, and the further I get into this, the more and more I realize some levels just getting untouchable is just not a realistic expectation. If I had a few more tools under my belt, I might be able to get through some of the levels a little bit easier, but that's kind of the charm or the magic of having, you know, 2 different classes to play through the game as. You have the Sorceress and you have the WarMage. The WarMage definitely has his own distinct flavor, and you see that in his blunderbuss and his maul getting up there into the fray and just unleashing a torrent of blows upon his enemies. I believe it's corridors. You're going to see me make some quick work of elementals with that hammer. That hammer is the Earth Elemental Slayer. It is amazing. It is great for taking down larger targets, especially when you have a stun equipped with it. I mean, you can't chain stun like some of the larger targets can your paladins and standard play, but just having any kind of a stun on it is great. So we're currently wave 7 out of 12. We have not lost a rift point. We are playing at the top of our game so far. This is what practice gives you. This is what going through this level and retrying it I probably clocked in at least 3 hours of practice on this, but those last waves are still kind of eluding. I used to wipe out at about wave 10, and even now I'd normally, in the very beginning, I'd be down a few rift points. There'd be people creeping in. 8 wave of 12, and we're 8.5 minutes into it. I still, like I said, I still got a lot of work to do. I still have a lot of my craft I need to perfect, and I think one of the most underutilized items I have on me is my Alchemist Satchel. I ought to be using that a lot more than I am, but it's one of those items that it's really great and it shines in very specific situations, but unless you're in that specific situation, you don't find yourself needing to use it. This choke point right here, if you were flowing them all through, it would be a great area for it. We're not going to worry too much about that. So we got, you know, left and right hand walls going through here. Haven't had to use our Rift Defender trinket yet, or our mana, but I think we're going to use it. Go through here and lay down some Fury of the Storm. Swap out, smack him in the face, and we finish up our wave. I mean, I probably should have kited them back a little bit and let my mana regen a little bit more. Because when this goes through, we're only a little over half our mana capacity. Having just, you know, an extra 3 seconds being almost topped off would be great, but
That is life.
it's a lot of crossbow, a lot of lightning, using that flame wall.
Population? Those guys.
Hear a Knoll incoming. I think there's like two on this wave or something like that. They're quick work if you get those headshots off. 2 headshots kills a Knoll. Or something like that. It might be 3. But it's definitely 2 plus a couple normal shots. A lot of headshots. It's got to get that mana back with that secondary, or the secondary effect on our crossbow. Alrighty. Use our Rift Defender Trinket. Get a little bit of mana back. Wait into these guys a little bit. Alright, gotta swap out a lot. Make sure these guys die. Going around, swinging our hammer. Oh, this is getting hectic. We are using our, we had one get through. Using the rift to kind of heal when we get to a break. We had 2 orcs squeeze through on that.
Whenever you guys are ready.
You know,
Watch out for the
might have been able to handle that a little bit better, but wave 10 and only losing 2 rift points isn't too bad as long as we can keep up that pace. And like I said, I'd really love to get more practice on these waves. I know that there was a little simulation tool that people used in Orcs Must Die 1 to help practice with waves and combo, test for combos, but not having something like that in Orcs Must Die 2 is been pretty painful for practicing. Had a runner squeezing through there, putting down a wall of flame, having our kobold sappers work for us for a change. So those guys do not like their friends. So there is friendly fire amongst orcs for the purposes of those explosive barrels. I don't think that things like the like archers, I don't think those things actually have friendly fire. Breaking out our mana rage trinket again. I don't like it when these mana, or not the mana, the lightning does not like arc or conduct like it's supposed to. Alrighty. Again, we're getting a little backed up. I hear kobold runners. They pop down that firewall again. Take shelter behind it. Getting our health back. Running amok. Only had that one runner get through, so we're still doing pretty well, but this is where we get to territory that I haven't really practiced. So we've lost 3 rift points. You know, we're down to 37 rift points. And yeah, we've got 2 waves left to go. This is generally the wave where I would normally lose most times, but I'm doing a lot better than I am normally. And like I said, it's a lot of practice. And you know, between having to move and then coming back and saying, you know what, I'm going to take my own advice and just kind of say, hey, let's give it a rest. Let's go play some levels past this, practice those, record them, get it all done. And already having to break out that Rift Defender trinket, this is not what I want to have to do. So, gotta regen some more mana. And that lightning trolls, by the way, if you're unfamiliar, are weak to lightning-based attacks. It's great. And a lot of orcs just going through. Gonna try to break out our Rafflecopter, pick up some health, get back here. Not doing very well. I really need to do some testing because I think Alchemist Satchel might have helped a lot better there. Yeah, we're down to 9, so we just lost 28 Rift points in one wave. I'm not gonna lie to you folks, part of the reason we carry the Rift Defender trinket is so we can beat these levels. It's not just the amazingly overpowered, like, 6 or 8 seconds done.
That's embarrassing.
Yeah, that is embarrassing. So we lose another 3 from dying because we got back attacked by sappers. Again, something I don't really know about on this wave since I never get this far under normal circumstances. So this wave is entirely fresh water. I really wish I could practice wave 11 enough to get to the point where I could get through it without losing so much. Like, I don't expect to get through it without missing a beat, but it would be nice to kind of get through that without incurring, 26 Rift points. That's brazenly bad. I think we had 1 or 2 guys sneak around behind us. Got that ogre down just in time. So we're down to 3. Lost 6 on that last wave, but we got through. And that's what it's all about here in the Trapless experiment. Answering that fundamental question, can we beat the level without traps? And here we have it, video evidence that yes, it is in fact possible. Will I retry this level at some point in the future? Yeah, I'm crazy enough to try to do a little bit of a Passages redemption in the future. So thank you guys for watching this video. It means a lot to me. If you liked it, go ahead and like it. Subscribe if you find yourself watching these videos. Until next time, I'm Womp Rat, signing off.